Okay, so I'm just going to grab the link quickly to pop in Discord. Nope, it's not caught up yet. There we go. Okay, so we started this project manually coding, and I believe it was last week we introduced using the anti-gravity AI-assisted code generation. And I think actually that's probably going to be more beneficial for more people. So I'm actually going to stick with this for the rest of the series. And hopefully, it's quite new to me as well. I've used it now and again, so I think we'll learn some stuff along the way. Apologies if you can hear beeping outside my window. Okay, so last time we added the text for the buy buttons and actually buying the droppers, and the text going when we bought the dropper. We also added the plot being cleaned up when a player leaves, and I think that was about it. So we added these buttons. Yeah. So I think what we're gonna just do is ask the AI to do a bit of a code review. So I'm gonna go back into edit mode here. And I'm gonna say here, review all the files within the project folder. Look for any performance worries. Look for any mistakes. Identify any improvements. Then let's just do that first. So I'm interested to see what it does here. So I expand this so we can see what the AI is thinking about. Started a review of the project files to identify performance issue, mistakes, areas for improvement. And you can see it's going through our traits folder. It's going through the server folder, which I think is empty. It's empty. The client folder, which is empty. The commands, we got a command. Oh, that's the other thing we did, is we made sure that the text for the buttons was on the client only. So you can see it's going through all the individual files it's finding now. I specified the project folder because we've also got node modules. I didn't want it to go through all this. This is the Jamango API backend that we don't need to worry about. That's going to be perfect code. So yeah, it's just finishing off the last few files here. And it's made me a report. So, saves all players simultaneous every 30 seconds. Stagger saves. I mean, yeah, that's a perfect recommendation. Why wouldn't you do that? So, yeah, that looks good. Even if it's already bought. I think that's fine. No, leave. So I can sort of give it comments here. So I'm going to say leave this as it is. Droppers are always in a perfect 1, 2, 3 and never removed other than the last. Decrease. Droppers will never be sellable or removed. So it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, let's fix that. AI does this quite a bit when it's been a bit lazy about the type. So we should get that fixed. Eventually import back. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a very valid point. Buy button trait and player profile trait. I don't think, where would the callback? Yeah, we'll just see what it does for this. Expand on this. Specific file to export these constants and make changing assets easier. Perfect. Yeah, that's a great idea. So if we look here, we've probably got defined, probably in plot trait. So we've got some floor props here. Actually, brilliant idea. Let's pull them out into their own file. Magic strings. Logic is split between server. Yes. Brilliant. Yeah, I was kind of worried about this, and I think if we go to server.ts, I may have been overridden. Yeah, I left myself a to-do here, because we've got this on-player join calling from the server, which is trying to allocate them a plot. But also, in the player profile where we're handling the saving and loading the data, we're also calling on-player join somewhere. I know it's here. Here. And so what can happen with these kind of action events is you can end up with a race condition. So if, for example, the server one fires first, so this is going to fire, it's going to try and get the profile of the player ID maybe before this has loaded the player profile properly. So we can avoid that by doing as suggested, centralizing the player initialization. So that's fine. Yeah. Upgrade logic is missing. That's fine. This is a feature addition. Do not worry yet. So I've added some comments to the report it's done here. And what I'm just going to say now, let me just accept those changes. I'm going to come up here and see proceed to a implementation plan for these points. So what it should do now is look through its own report and build a nice little plan. We may be able to watch it in real time. Oh, so it has actually found a circular dependency. So while buy button imports spawn dropper app from, yeah. So it's going to be really cool to read this implementation plan, and it's done already. That was really fast. User review required. What are the importance being undervalued? Removed. Yeah, that's fine. There's no j dot work. Still use on game tick, but filter through using some what would we say? Some next auto save at value. So I can add that comment there. Move the buy button definition here, or move spawn dropper to a shared helper. Spawn dropper at. So this is in plot trait. Yeah, okay. Oh, here we go. I'm going to delete that comment actually. Didn't see that bit. So if we come back here, propose, create shared assets and shared traits to hold definitions. No. We want to keep traits as their own files. We don't want a big file full of traits. Or is it just... No, to actually define the trait. So keep traits as their own files, but look at separating logic if necessary. Yep, centralize, that's fine. That's fine, that's fine. Fix that silly thing. Yep, centralize, that's fine. So, I can just press proceed. Okay, that's new. So it's working on this first issue here. Okay, so it's doing some stuff. Looks like we've created a assets.ts somewhere. Probably in shared, no. Project shared. It's just not updated yet. So it's still working through those changes. I can see I've got the cancel button, so I know that's not finished. Ooh, this took a lot out of plot trait. So I think what we're actually going to end up with here is this traits folder being pure trait definition. And the logic is going to be brought into some other files. So let's have a look how it's looking. Let's just accept all these changes a second. So we've still got nothing there, nothing there. Interesting. Do I need to refresh this? There we go. Okay, so we got our assets here. And now it's in this format, it'd be really easy to sort of pull this out. Something we've seen in the Discord recently is someone built a function to import a spreadsheet so we could populate some of this data in real time using an external spreadsheet, so we don't have to go in and edit the game code. We can update a spreadsheet somewhere. That's something we could do. So it's created a plot utils. So all of the actual logic has been pulled out of the plot trait file. We've still got some logic here. So potentially this is a little bit more messy. Still got our index. Only exporting plot traits, that's the only one I'm actually doing at the moment. I say doing, that's the only one that I actually need to place in game at the moment. Server.ts looks better. How did we handle the player? We still got this, have we not? So we've got on player join. Doesn't look like it's actually done anything there. So if I go through the walkthrough, it's going to tell me what it's done. I should have done that in the first place. So we've got a staggered save system in player profile. So let's have a look. If you find game tick, so it's counting the frames. That's weird. Okay. So doing a modulo. Next save equals undefined. Fine. Every 10 ticks. Yeah. Okay, that looks okay. Let's go back to the next thing. Yeah, we've seen that asset centralization. That was an easy fix. It's updated the input paths. What it hasn't done is, if we go back here, oh, it's actually forgot about that. So if we go back to the report, it's not implemented everything. So I'm just going to copy this and say next plan fixing the order issue from the report. Let's just see what it does there. Yeah, I'm interested about this plot utils. It's maybe something we develop as we go, just because we've got some split logic now. So remove. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, I could just tell it to proceed with that. So essentially, we're just going to make sure we're only calling onPlayer join once in server.ts, and we can just make sure we handle everything here. Is it done that? No, it's still working. We could just really control the flow of the logic that way. Okay, so it's made some changes here. I'm just going to accept these. So this is interesting. It's importing that. So is this not in the file? Yeah. So it's done half the job. Which is quite interesting, actually. No, that's the old one. So we can see here server.ts is red, and it's red because these imports are failing, so there's an error. So this code isn't going to compile. Now, because there's no changes to player profile, everything's going to work normally. This new server.ts isn't going to be, what's the best way to put it? Isn't going to be run on the server. We've made some changes, but because we've got these errors, it's going to use the last sort of known good version of this file. And because we didn't change anything else, if we'd have changed player profile trait and got rid of these on-player joins, then it would have broke. But because those have stayed the same, the fact that this file's erroring isn't actually affecting anything. This can cause issues because it can allow bugs to go through, because I could test everything here and go, okay, so we've updated the profile loading, and I can come on here. I've still got my profile. It looks like that's all working fine, when in actual fact it's not. So I'm going to give it a really vague fix the errors with server.ts, and it should pick up that it needs to essentially come into player profile trait and just take this logic and put it in a function that we then export. It knows what it wants: initialize player profile and cleanup. And there's a init profile system. Not sure what its plans are for that. But you can see it's analysed player profile traits. It's identified that the errors are coming from that file. We're trying to import things that aren't there. So it may just go ahead and do this, or it may throw back another one of these implementation plans. It looks like it's just going for it. So you can see we've now got this new function, clean up player profile. So whereas before it was just on, j.onPlayerLeave, now it's just its own function that we're calling from server.ts. So nothing's really changing, we're just adapting a little bit. So there we go. This is no longer red. We've got no squiggles up here, so everything's working. Now we can properly test, is everything still working? And yes, it looks like it is. I can still buy droppers. I'm just going to add some money. I can't remember if that was the command, but so I've got 125. I can buy everything. Is it just money? Money is now 125. Does it not accept minus values? That's a shame. So what I might just do is do wipe. Come out, come back in. I've got no droppers and I should have no money. Yeah, there we go. So that code is still working, and then if I add $10, I can buy the dropper. Perfect. Brilliant. So I'm going to be really lazy now. It's very optimistic, this AI. So it's saying the code base should now be error-free and run with improved stability and initialization logic, which is quite correct, actually. I did want to fix up this on-player join, so I'm just going to delete this because that's done. Get rid of that one as well. Yes, okay. So I'm going to say, suggest the next feature to implement. Ask any questions about the game if you are unsure. Now this is a coding agent. It's Gemini 3 Pro. So it's not a full LMM in terms of, sort of chatting to your, I can't speak, sort of having a conversation with your normal chat GTP 5.2. Create a system that makes dropper instant trace spawn resources. And this is actually what I wanted to do. So I don't know how it's picked this up. How has it picked this up? Is there anything in here about a conveyor belt? It's kind of spooky. So it's asked me some questions here. Do I have a conveyor belt asset? Do we? There might be something we can use. Just have a look. Please ignore my hotbar here. I do have a slight issue. Could use that for now. I'm wondering, do we want to make the conveyor belts client side? There's going to be a lot of moving stuff. Let's just get the logic implemented, and then we can worry about that. So is this going to look good? If I go back to my block, is that going to look like a conveyor belt? And no, because that's... I was thinking I could bounce these along, but actually you're not going to see anything unless I physically move them. Animated textures in Jamango when? What would be the best way to do it? If we think... let me just buy a dropper here. So, I just had one of those random freezes. Am I still getting errors? That's a point. It's made some new files, hasn't it? But doesn't seem to actually be causing any errors. Clear everything. Okay, hopefully I can catch that again. What I am going to do quickly though is just pop out of here, save, leave the game, great, edit work, just jump back in here. Should we just slide them along the floor for now? And there's a cell box. I'm so confused where it's picking this up from. Project. I'm trying to think. The only thing I've actually added to this is just the project overview. Interesting. And a little bit scary about how it knows I want to do this. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to turn this into a prop. Create prop. Conveyor belt piece. So, I can't spell, conveyor belt, prop ID. Should resources be physical objects? We should define prop IDs for each resource. each dropper drops a block related to itself. Stone dropper drops a stone block. Free cell box asset. So what we could do, just come back here, I'll delete that. Select these, get rid of those. We'll just do something really simple for now. Now if I make it so I want to shrink it down. I think if I make this 4, a new 4, new 4, like that. I think that'll do for now. The kind of way I work with this kind of stuff is I don't spend a lot of time creating something that looks nice. I want to get things sort of running and jumping before I start worrying about then coming back and sort of making it look nice. So, cell box, yeah. And I'm going to scale this to 0.25. I want to make sure it's static. Save. Misspelled cell box. Just fix that. Copy that. Cell box prop ID. Yeah, proceed. Might ask me some more questions here. So that's an interesting thing. So it's saying it's determining the conveyor placement. Now I haven't told it where it needs to go. So I was just going to think about it. I just want to see what it does. This is very much experimenting right now. I think it would be really cool to, oh, it's still going. Sort of come up with a really in-depth design document and then have that. So rather than, I've got a couple of words here, but having a proper design document and saying, look, refer to that, implement that. I think that could be really cool and something I might try next. So if we open this up, add IDs, resource trait, yeah. Logic, yeah, check cooldown. To move on, yeah. Don't think it's, it might be plus C, yeah, it will be plus C. Check collisions between, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. This all looks fine. I'm just going to tell it to proceed. While it's doing that, what I might just do is chuck that block in there. No, not scoped. Place. Just place that down. If I can find the pencil tool. So it's still working there. So it's finished here. So we have broke plot trait again for some reason. Spawn conveyor system. If we have a look in assets, yeah, so that's what I was hoping it would do. So I could just do the same thing, everything here. Pipeline traits, interesting. So I could just say fix plot trait.ts. Knows it needs to spawn the conveyor system, just isn't doing it. It's going to be really interesting to see what this generates, how it behaves. I gave it a really vague question. Walkthrough. Yes, you need to create some new logic, don't you? Accept all, walkthrough. Oh, okay. So it did actually make it. It is there. It's not fixed the issue though. Plot utils. I'm just going to fix it for it. That's the issue fixed. We might be getting some issues again. Yeah, so I'm just going to resave the world. And again, that's purely because it's doing this rather than putting them in the folders when you create a file locally. But a quick save, quick leave, and you can just jump straight back in. It's taking a little longer than usual. Okay, let's just hit play. Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay, seems to be working. That is, yeah. Let me just... Obviously copied the wrong thing in there. I come back to my assets, just update this. Yeah, I can see it's the same as the cell box. Just make sure we're getting those full blocks. If we look at the conveyor system... Oh, okay. Interesting. So that's working. Do you know what? We don't need the conveyor pieces, I don't think. I'm not sure we're getting any money, but we can work that out. 27. We are getting money. Okay. So, we can get rid of these conveyor pieces, because we could build that into the floor, actually. That works, I mean, perfectly. I'm quite impressed. That's going to fail. Oh no. So I envisioned, a line of these conveyor pieces, it going along the conveyor pieces and falling and dropping in here. I was going to make these a bit smaller, but actually they look pretty good. I love that it the momentum starts as it spawns rather than boom. It's kind of like it's chucking it out there. It's spawning from kind of the area I wanted it to spawn as well, which is obviously this slanted piece. Okay, so what refinements do we want here? I'm going to reassure and say everything works great, but I've decided we don't want the conveyor. I will learn to spell conveyor pieces. And we don't need the conveyor pieces. It can just run along the floor. So remove the spawning of the conveyor pieces only. Cool. So I'll let it do that. I am really quite happy with that. Surprisingly happy. And again, we can edit this cell box. So like I said, I assumed it would be dropping down like that. Okay, that's done. So let's just accept that and come back in. No, still spawning. So let's just actually check it's done what it said. If I go to the walk, have we still got it in assets? We've got the conveyor bit there. So if we go to plot util, yeah. So it's this segment bit. I'm just going to manually get rid of this. And everything works. That looks fine. I think that looks absolutely fine. Obviously, we'd need to add, I should probably buy the second one now. So we need to add some diamond blocks and things. But again, this isn't final. If we buy all of them, does it get a bit crazy? So I could fix that by, do I want to set scale there? I'm going to manually change something. So pipeline traits. Just need to work out. See, this is the only thing with AI. If you don't keep an eye on it, you get really detached from the logic. So essentially, I'm just looking for the bit at the moment that's actually spawning the block that's coming down. So there's no logic here, so it's not going to be in there. There's no logic there. It's probably going to be in here, right? So that's to roll a dropper. Systems, dropper systems. Okay. So I can come here, and before we set the position, I can just say, okay. Pretty sure it's going to be just a number, 0.25. Let's just see if that looks a bit better. Oh, that looks tiny. So 0.5. Does that look better? That looks better. Add money 500. No, it's just money 500. I can buy all these. Hopefully that's quite cute. Now I'm surprised we're not seeing an autosave. So I'm just going to leave this running and just see if it pings an autosave. Just want to test. Doesn't look like anything's falling. Oh, as I said that, it fell off. But we can make a nice big box here. Let's say all I need to do is update this prefab here of the floor with a nice little conveyor graphic. Obviously, sadly, I only get pushed along by the blocks. We've got a runner. So yeah, we just need to make sure that that doesn't happen. Obviously, some considerations here. We've got a lot of physics running now, running on the server as well. We've got collisions going on. We've got, physics of the stacking. But it looks quite cute. So I think this is one of those things where, oh, look at that. We can be sort of mindful of the impact it's going to have. We can monitor it. And if we need to, we can come back and we can make these client only, in which case it will take the pressure off the server. There's a couple of different things we could do. We could remove the physics from it completely. But for now, I think it's quite cute. I think we're going to leave it like that. I'm not seeing any autosave. Oh wait, there we go. So is that what it says when it autosaves? Just save in player? We could just check. So it's doing that on that, and it's doing that here. I thought there was some console logs, but I guess not. Easy way to verify this. I'll just come out of this. We've got all the droppers unlocked. If I come out and go back in, we haven't. Profile. So it's saved, I think, after I added the money. Is that what happened? Yeah. Okay. So the autosave doesn't appear to be working. Review the logic. While it's doing that, we'll have a quick look. So we've got this frame count. Where is this getting set? Here's the question. So next save times. Is it ever getting set? It's never getting set. So let's see if it picks it up. So essentially we're looping through all the players, which is correct. Okay, let's just accept its changes. just add that back. Right, let's just see how this does then. Check the profile. What did it say? 10 seconds. Where was it set in that 10 seconds? Okay. So it is actually... So this should... It's not working though. Is this ever undefined? Let's just console.log. Next save. Is it undefined or is it no? It's not even being called. Oh, we got to remember that that's only calling every... Is that ever calling? I was doing it there. Hang on. So the next thing to check is that being called from server.ts. It is, okay. This is going to be really ugly, but game tick. Okay, so it's definitely calling. We can get rid of that now. So let's just add console.log undefined set for that doesn't seem right to me. Undefined set for 10 seconds. Okay. 3, 4, 5. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's all working now. So if I come back by that, wait for it to say save and player again. I guess the next time it's going to be 30 seconds, isn't it? Yeah. So it does do some weird stuff like that. Just wait for that save player to pop. So we can, there we go. And yeah, perfect. So that's done. I can remove these console.logs. So that's shaping up to be, again, a nice little productive episode here. I think if we just come in here and say, I guess it's number 6, isn't it? Number 6. We probably need to get some UI going. So I think that could be the next episode, just getting some UI. And we're going to need, I think it'd be really cool to see some values coming out as it enters the cell box. So kind of popping out. So we need some world space UI and some UI on the player so we know how much money we've got. We don't need to type chat commands. And the other thing we can work on doing is, obviously when we buy a dropper, there is a role going on. It's doing some calculations, doing some gambling basically. It could be cool to get some UI going for that. UI. User interface. User screen. Money. Exactly that kind of stuff. World space UI. Drop a resource cell effect. So that's what we'll work on next time. So what have we got going on here? It is just applying. So there's not too much going on, and then we've got the collision check. If it isn't the host, potentially move to client side if performance suffers. Potentially. Yeah, that's fine. So it's just a little note for us to come back to, that if we come in game and we've got 6 players, each with 10 floors of these things going like crazy, it could get a bit hectic. Could be absolutely fine. It's a single cube, it's not complex. I've completely lost the word I'm trying to think of. It's not got a complex collider. And we'll keep the cell box as a nice simple cube as well. We will flip this on its side, make it a bit bigger. So that just reduces the complexity of the physics interactions we got going on. But yeah, like I said, I'm quite happy with how this looks. It's really cute. Especially when you start building a little tower up. It's really cool. And especially when we start adding different, so the diamond droppers are actually dropping diamond blocks. I think it's going to look really cool. Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you